brackets, and then we can say follow button, just like that. And the properties that our follow button is going to have, since we have already pretty much done it, we can go to video, and we already pretty much done it. We scroll down where video, we have the following ID, which is user.id and has followed. This is going to be very, very similar to what we have already have done. So I can pretty much just copy this right here. I can go back here and I can paste it right here. And I can say follow button, and we're going to change some of the properties. So we're going to say following dot following, and for example, if we just if we look at the properties that are hanging off of this, it says dots, and you see following ID, etc. We're just going to say following, and then we say the properties is hanging off of this. We have all of this. We're going to just say ID. In that case, we don't need that. And then we're going to say following dot viewer has followed. Simple as that. Has followed equals following dot viewer has followed. Just like that. And then we go over, we see that we have our button. And now, because this is our own profile, everybody here is going to be followed. We can unfollow them, and if you refresh, then like we kind of lose the following. So, but yeah, cool. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a div. We're going to close it, and inside this div, all we're doing is we're going to say display flex. We're going to give it a column, and then we're going to say the text inside of it is small. Cool. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a paragraph tag. Inside there, we're going to say font semi-bold, and then we're going to say text gray. We'll say follow name, and then we're going to close it. And then the next one we're going to do is just make a paragraph tag, and we're just going to change the color, the text gray. We'll say following, and then we'll say handle. And then we're going to close it. Simple as that. And if we go over to this, we see that we have the name and also the username, just like that. So now if we go over to another page, someone else's page, let's go here. We go here and we look at their following. We can see all the people they're following, and then we can go ahead and we can follow them as well. And if we refresh, we see that it says following as well. There we have it. Cool. And we can go back to our page. We can just click it, and it automatically takes us right back to our page. There we have it. Cool. The next thing that we're going to be making is one huge page called dashboard. And I'm actually just going to give you a demo real quick. We go over here and we push Creator Studio. We can see that there's a lot of things happening here. We have a status button, so when we click it, it'll give us a publish or unpublish. We can go ahead and edit. We have an edit button. We have a delete button that is a modal pop-up. We also have an upload button that we can upload some of our things. If I just push upload, we see that it automatically uploads this, and then we can publish it, and then we can change the name, and we can save it. We can add photos. We can crop. We can save, and there it has it. We can even search it to prove. We can search it up, and you see it right here. So yeah, and it tracks all the likes, the dislikes, etc. So there's a lot of stuff happening here, and we're going to go through that now. Each one of these are different buttons that we have to individually build. So This page is probably the hardest page to make. However, we will go through it step by step. Just a lot of different things, and a lot of the stuff we already have done, we can just implement it here, right? Because we already built videos, we already built buttons before, we already built we already changed things before, etc. So yeah, let's do that now. Cool. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go over to our user router. Very similar to what we have there. Cool. So the first thing you want to do is come down here, and we're going to say get dashboard data. We're going to say public protected procedure, right? So the user has to be authorized in order to get any of the data that's inside of here. Then we say async. Then we can close it. Whoop. Come here. We can close it. Whoa. We can open this back up. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do const user, and then we say prisma.user. We're going to say find unique, where ID, because we're finding one user. So we say find unique, and then we're going to say include videos equals true. So we're getting the user, all the user's data, and also all their videos. Then we're going to check if there's an error. So we're going to say if not user, throw error, simply like that. Next thing that we can do is we're going to say we're going to count all the data from each video. We're going to count the data. So we say videos with counts. And then we're going to say user.videos.map, simply like that. And we're going to count each video. We're going to count the likes, very similar to what we already have done. If we actually head back to our video router and we scroll down, we can see const likes, dislikes, and views. We can basically just copy this because this is very similar to what we already done right here in the get video by ID. We can just basically copy this right here. We say const like, dislike, and views. We can copy this, and then we can paste it right here. Right, very similar to what we have already have done. Then we're going to return. We're going to return the video, the individual video with its likes, and we're going to pin the likes, dislikes, and the views that we have just found inside of our database. Cool. Let's close this up. Just like that. Now we have the videos with counts. Now let's get the total number of likes that we have, and the total number of views we have, and the total number of followers. So let's do that now. We can say const total videos, and what we're going to do is say videos with counts. We're going to simply add them. I'm going to say dot reduce. Here we can say const total likes, and then we say video with counts dot reduce. What is happening here is that we are saying for each video dot likes that we have, for all of them, we're going to be adding the total plus the video likes, and then for each video that it's going to add video dot likes to total, right? So for each video that we do this for, it's going to add. It's going to run this piece of data right here. And we're starting this off at 0. We're starting this accumulator right here at 0. So that's what's basically happening. We can do the same thing with total views. Say total views, and then it'll get the total view count. And we can do something very similar with total followers. But in order to do that, we're going to have to actually count how many followers that we have, because it's not located in the videos. So we can do this here. We can say const total followers, and we can go to Prisma dot follow engagement. So we're going to the follow engagement model, and we're saying following ID user.id, and it's going to just count all the followers that this given user has. And then what we can do is come down here and return everything inside. Just like that. We're returning the user, the total followers, all the videos that they have, the total likes, and the total views. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go back over to pages, and we're going to make new file. We're going to call this dashboard.tsx, just like that. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to just come here. We want to say dashboard, then we're going to return just like that. Just like that, and we'll just say hello world dashboard, simply as that. We'll go ahead and close it just like that, and we come here, we can just go here and add it. We know the protocol, and one thing we want to do is export, so let's do that as well. We say export default dashboard, just like that. Cool. Now what we can do is we are going to add we are going to query our API. So if I come here to the home page, I can just grab this. I can say import, and inside here, I'm going to get a whole bunch of different variables. So I'm going to say const data is loading, error, and refetch. And then I can say API dot user dot get. Let's see if it auto corrects. No, we're not getting it. It's fine. Get dash. There we go. Dashboard data. We say dot use query, simply as that. And then what we can do is we are going to pass it the user ID as string. Now, in order to get the user ID, we already know the protocol. We have to do session. So let's get session. In this case, we're going to say const data session, simple as that. And then we have to import it. So let's go ahead and import it now. We say import use session, just like how we usually do. And now we have this data. Oh, and one more thing, we have to define this. So we say const user ID session ID, and then we have the user ID, and then we're passing it right into this query right here. Cool. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to say head, and then we're going to call it title. Inside the title, we're going to say Creator Studio Vid Chill, because that's what we're calling it. You say head there, and then we're going to say link. We're going to give it a fave icon, and then we're going to close it. Simply like that. We can save it. We can highlight over this. It says checking for quick updates. Give it a second. We click over that. Let's try it one more time. There. We say add import head. We save it. There we go. We come back to it. We say Creator Studio -vid chill. Cool. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add our layout. And in this case, we're going to close the sidebar. Simple as that. Nope. Let's go back. Let's say layout. Okay, well, let's just do that. Okay, cool. There we go. And inside there, we can make those signs. And we can paste this right inside there. Then we come back here. We refresh. Yeah, we refresh. There you have it. You have hello world there. You have navbar and you have the sidebar, and they're closed. Simple as that. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna render the error. So let's do that now. We can basically just copy and paste what we have already here at the index file. So we come here, we say not data. Just copy this. We bring this over to dashboard. Simple as that. Oop. Come here. If it's not data, it just say paragraph, people. Simple as that. And now let's make our error so we can copy and paste that. Say const error, highlight this. Paste that in there, just like that. And it says is loading, etc. And then for a message, we'll say error loading channel. And then, sorry, there is an error at this time. Simple as that. We can highlight over this. We can say add all missing imports. Now we have it just like there. And now if we go over here, we see this, and if we refresh it, you'll see that we have the loading component right there. Okay, let's go to our console and let's just see what data we're actually getting. So we come here, we go to result, data, user, and this is everything that we have inside here. So we have the total followers, total likes, views, the actual user himself, and then the videos and all the videos that the person has. So let's go and start adding things like this now. Let's first start off by making a div. Div, let's say class name, just like that. Inside here, we're going to say flex column, and give it a gap, etc. We're going to say shadow, and then with a small, we're going to say rounded, everything inside there. Cool. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make another div. So let's do that now. Make another div with a couple, a little bit more properties. And like I said, you'll see what is actually being done in just a few seconds. And then we're going to make another div. And then we're going to close it just like this. Cool. And then we're going to write an h1 tag. And then we're going to say welcome back. And then we're going to say the user's name. We can close it now. Simple as that. And then we're going to write a paragraph tag. And then we're going to close it just like that. Cool. Let's head back over. Then you see welcome back, and then the name that we have for this user, Cold Steel, is right there, and it has a line right underneath it. Cool. If we go over, you see a little bit of that. Cool. Now, if we come back to vidshow.org, you notice where we have a big upload button right here. Well, we're going to come back to that. Our upload button is going to come right underneath this. So what we can do right here is we can just say upload button here. And then we're just going to save it just like that. And we will come back to that in the future. Next thing I'm gonna write is I'm gonna write this total views, total followers, and total likes. So we can do that now. When we scroll up, we are going to do something very similar to what we have done in the past, where we had const stats, where we had an array of different items that we want to render to the page, right? So back when we had sidebar. If we go back to sidebar real quick, we have an array of things that we all want to render to the page, where we're going to do something very similar. And in this case, with desktop navigation, we had name, we had an icon, etc. We're going to do something very similar. So let's do that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. And for this one, we can just close this. And now we are going to come up here and we're going to start writing the stats, and then we're going to display them. So let's do that now. Let's go out here and we're going to create a new interface. This interface, we're going to call it stats item. Stats item. And then inside here, we're going to say name is a string. We're going to say stats is a string. And then we're going to say icon, then we're going to say class name, JS element, and then we're going to close it just like that. Very similar to what we did with sidebar, if you remember. We have interface, name, icon, etc. Very, very similar. Now we're going to come down a little bit, and then we're going to say const stats, and we can put it right here. Say const stats, and then we can say, for the first one, we're going to say total views, and then we're going to say data.totalviews.toString. And if it's not a string, we're going to say, if it's not a number, we're going to say 0, if we're not actually getting any data here. And we're also going to have, for the icon, a green eye. We go here. You see that we have a green eye here. We have a user with a check, and we have a heart. That's the ones that we're going to be putting, the icons we're going to be using. Close that there. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do total followers. Simple as that. And then the last one we're going to do is total likes. Simple as that. We can save these. We can hover over them. Let's see. It says checking for quick updates. If we click, hold on, give it a second. See if this one pops up. There we go. Add all missing imports. And there we go. We have all three of them, which is perfect. Cool. So now we scroll back down. We're going to finally map these. So we're going to map them right here. The first thing we're going to say, we're going to write a tag. We're going to make a description list, DL. And inside here, let me just close this so everyone can see. Inside here, we're going to say margin top. We're going to say 5. We're going to say it's going to be a grid underneath this. We're going to say grid columns 1. We're going to say divide Y. We're going to say divide. The division is going to be gray 200. Overflow hidden, rounded. We're going to give it a border. We're going to say border colors 200. We're going to give it a shadow small. And here's some other properties. When it becomes a medium, we want to make it 3 columns, etc. There we go. Then we can go ahead and close this. So we say DL, just like that. Save it. Then we come back over here. Now we can go ahead and map it. So we can say stats.map, simply like that. Then we can make another div. We're going to say the key is going to be item.name, etc. We're going to go ahead and close this. And then we're going to close the stats.map as well. There we go. We can save it. Then we prettier would modify it. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open it. we're going to first say we have item.name. Right underneath it, we want to say item.icon. Right there. And then we're going to pass it a height of 4 and a width of 4. If we save this and we go back to our actual page, you see that we end up having the icons pop up just like that. The next thing we want to do is one of the description titles. We want to say, right underneath it, we want to say DT, and then we want to say item.name. So we're going to actually name this, and then we're going to close it just like that. And then here we're going to say text is normal text. We're going to say font normal, and then we're going to say gray 900, or making it dark. There you go. You say total views, total followers, total likes. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, now we're going to say description. We're going to say description. We're going to say DD, which means description, actual description we're going to be having. Say DD. Then we're going to say class name. We'll say equal. We're going to open it. And then we're going to say margin top text 3XL. Just like that. Then we're going to say font semi-bold. A couple other properties. We're going to say text primary 600. And then we're going to say when it's medium, we want to put it in a block. When it's large, we want it to be flex. Simple as that. We can go ahead and close it. Just like that. When we open it, we're going to put inside items.stat. Item.stat, just like that. We save it. We go over to our window. We see that we have the actual numbers. So this is how many views we have in total. This is how many followers, and this is how many total likes. We can refresh it. You see the same thing. There you go. Just like that, we see welcome back, total views, numbers, etc. No, and let's add track and manage your channel and videos. Let's go back up and add that real quick. We scroll up. Looks like we already made the paragraph tag. Let's just say track and manage your channel and videos. Just like that. We save it. We come back up. Oh, looks like we have to add flex. Let's do that real quick. Back up here. Just finished adding it. You see, there we have it. Cool. So the next thing that we're going to go ahead and build is if we're going to build this part right here. So this is going to be the status. We're going to allow it to publish and unpublish button, etc. We're going to be building all of this section primarily right here. So we can go back to our code and let's start doing that now. Let's make a div, and inside this div, we're going to say rounded. We're going to give it a border. We're going to say border gray 200. We're going to give it a padding of 6. We're going to give padding on the x-axis of 4. We're going to give it a shadow. We're going to say small, etc. Let's close it. Next div we have is we're going to say div class name. We're going to give it a margin top of 8 and then full root. Simple as that. All right, and the next div that we have close it. We're going to say div. We're going to give it a margin of left, right. We're going to say here. We're going to say overflow, etc. Say div right there. Let's close these. Okay, now we're going to make a table. So let's do this now. We're going to say table. We're going to say class name. Inside here, we're going to say min width. And then we're going to say divide y, divide gray 200. And then we're going to close this. Simply as that. If we go to it, let's go to localhost. Next, we can go over and say t head. And then we can give it a class name. Or actually, we won't even give it a class name at all. We'll say t head. Inside here, we'll say here tr. And here, we'll say scope column. Just like that. Let's close this. Our scope column, and then we're going to give it some class names. Say padding 3.5, text left, text semi, text small, font semi bold, text gray 900, etc. Padding to the left. Cool. And then we're going to say status. That's our first one that we have. Make sure that you have this inside the TR and TH. It's like that. And if we go over here, you see status is right there. Let's go to our next one. We could just copy this. And then we could say uploaded. Let's do another one where we say rating. Let's do another one where we say data uploaded. If you start looking at them, you see status, uploaded, data rating, etc. Then we're going to do another one and we're going to say edit. Here we say column, we're going to say relative, small, SR dash only. Cool, now we're done with T head. Now we're going to do T body. So now we could just make another one, say T body. Let's say divide 200. Just like that. And we're going to close it. Just like that. And inside here, we're going to map all of the videos. Let's do that right now. We can say data.videos.map. Just like that. Right here, normally we would have our publish button, so we're going to just say publish button here. We will come back to that in a little bit. We're going to make a TD. And we're going to say white space wrap. We're going to give it some padding, and we're going to say small, etc. We are going to then close it. Then we're going to say div. clicks name, then we're going to close it just like this. Inside here, we're going to say another div. We'll say a height 16, width 16, etc. Close it now. And then we're going to say thumbnail, and then we're going to import thumbnail, and then we're going to pass the thumbnail URL. Let's do that. So we come up here, and it looks like we don't have it imported. Let's just import it real quick. That. Say that, just like that, just like that. Cool. We're gonna come back down and right underneath it, we're going to make another div. And in this div, we're going to say ML, font name, etc. We're going to say video.title, and then we are going to go ahead and close it. Simple as that. And now you're starting to see the beginning of this. Now we just have a couple more things that we have to add. Let's go back over here. If we highlight over this, we see that it says TR missing key. Let's go ahead and add that real quick. We can say TR. You say video, just like that. And then we can come back here and close it. Just like that underneath it. If we then come back over to our dashboard, we see that now it's starting to display a lot better. Next thing that we want to add is we want to also add, we're going to make another TD tag. We're going to say class name, no wrap. We're going to say padding, and our X is going to be 3. We're going to say padding Y. 5 is we're going to say text is small. We're going to say text is gray. Then we're going to close this. Cool. Inside here, we want to do a span. We'll say inline flex, rounded, full, big success, etc. Font medium. We want to. Inside here, we're going to say videos likes. Right here, we're going to close it. And we got to make sure that we put a space right here so you can have video.likes and then the space. If we keep it like this, it won't actually hold. Let's go over here. You see how it likes, but we have to make sure we have a space right there. And you'll get 5 likes. We're going to make another one. Very similar. In this case, it's going to be background error 100. Very same. And then text error 700. These are the colors that we're using. We come back over here. Did you see that we have 0 dislikes? Let's go back. Some of the CSS we're using inline flex. Item center, rounded full. So the border radius is fully rounded. We have in the background of 100 and the text is 700. We can go off and close this one. We're going to make another one. And we're going to say very similar. So we're going to say another one. So we can say TD and close it. And then inside here, we're going to say video.created. And we're going to say to a local date string. And if we come here, you'll see that we have the actual date right here. And like I said, what we're missing here is the publish button. So once we put the publish button, it's going to force everything over. Just like that. Cool. And that's pretty much it for everything that is not button related. Now let's go ahead and implement some buttons. So the first button that we're going to end up implementing is going to be our publish button. So let's go ahead and do that now. We can Well, let's actually go ahead and we're going to come back up here. We're going to go to buttons and then we're going to say new and then we're going to say publish button.tsx. Simply like that. We're going to come to it. We can come here. We're going to go to buttons right here and then we're going to export publish buttons just like that. We want to save it. Now it's still red because we still haven't actually exported the component yet. So let's go ahead and make the component. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make an interface. In the interface, we're going to say published buttons, and inside there, we're going to say video. We're going to open it like that. Then we're going to say ID. Underneath that, we're going to say publish, which is a Boolean. Just like that. We're going to close it, and then we are going to close this as well. Simply like that. And then the next thing that we're going to make is we're going to say export default function. We're going to say published button. Simply like that. So we got published button. We have the video and then all the props that we're going to be passing into this video. In this case, we can actually just name this props. Props. Just like that. Then we can come down here. We can return. Like that. Put some brackets here. Button. I know I misspelled that, but it's fine. Come back down here. Close that. And I think we're missing brackets right there. There we go. We save it. Looks like it's working perfectly here. And we no longer have this error right here as well. So looks pretty good. Once we have this, we can come back over here to dashboard. Once we have published button here, we're going to paste this right underneath the TR near our key. And then if we go over here, we see publish button, publish button, publish button. Cool. Let's head back over to publish button. We can simply just go ahead and delete this right here. Or in another case, before we even delete this, we are going to actually go down and just create the publish video mutation, and then we'll come back to this component. So let's go ahead and do that first. We come here. Let's close these. Oh, so all right, let's go back to video. There we go. We close them. We can go to the bottom, and then all we have to really do is just say publish video, protect it. Then we can say the input, we can give the video ID and then the user ID. Then we can have a mutation, async, and then we're going to say const video check video ownership. So we have published video, we have dot mutation. The next thing that we want to do is actually check the video ownership. We are going to make this a function right outside of our video router. So let's go, and I'll show you what I mean by doing that in 1 second. Let's just close that. We can come back up to this. Then we're going to make a new function called const check video ownership. Right here. And this is very similar to, let's see, very similar to our video engagement page, where we end up making a async function outside of outside of create TRPC router, where we can use get or create playlists in many different mutations. And we're about to make something very similar with a async function outside of the router. So let's go ahead and do that now. The first thing I want to do is I want to just copy this, and I'm going to bring this back over to video, and I'm going to just say this right here. So it's type context Prisma client. We're going to highlight over this, and then we're going to copy it and say add all missing imports. The second thing that we want to do is we want to bring this down. We're going to say all the props that we're going to pass into this. We're going to say context. We're going to say ID equals string. And then we're also going to say the user ID. And we're going to say string. Then we're going to close it just like that. Then I can do that. Just like that. Now we're going to actually run our find unique. So we're just, the only thing we're doing is going to be finding finding the ID of the video. So let's do that now. So if I say const, if I say const video like this, await, we're just going to be finding the video where the ID equals ID. So where ID is equal to ID, then we're going to close it, and then we're going to write a statement saying that if not video or video.user ID is not equivalent to user ID, so the video user ID, then we're going to throw a TRPC error. Just like that. We're going to say internal server error, video not found. We're going to throw that back to the server. And then right underneath this, we can say return video. Just like that. And now if we come over, and one more thing, let's highlight this. And then we can say add import from TRPC server. We can slide down. And if we come back to our published video, we can go ahead and finish writing this. So now what we're going to check is we're going to say const video await check video user ID, and then we pass in these properties right here. And this is very useful of doing check video ownership, because we're going to be doing this with delete video. We're going to write that. We're going to make a update video mutation. We're going to create a create video mutation as well. And all of the, well, besides create video, all of these is very useful of just running this function, and then it just tells us if the video exists. Just querying the video. Simple as that. Next thing we can do is we can say const updated video. Let's go ahead and do that now. We can say update, and we're going to say where ID is equal to video ID. Simple as that. Say publish video. We have that. Let's make this an update. Simple as that. Then we say where, and then we want to say the thing that we're going to be updating is just data publish, and we're just going to be doing the opposite of whatever the video.publish said, right? So for example, this works very similar. I don't want to explain it again, but this works very similar to what we did with like button and dislike button. Publish video allows me to either publish a video or unpublish a video with the same mutation. That's the thing to keep in mind. Cool. Then we could say return publish video, and that's that. Now we can head back over to publish button. Let's do that. Now let's start actually writing some of our parameter or our mutations in here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to call our API. Let's do that real quick. We say import API. We're going to say this at the top. We can open that. We say API, just like that. The next thing I want to add is I want to add session. So we'll do that as well. We'll say import use session. And then I'm going to add use state for now. Just that. Now, the first thing I'm going to add is I'm going to say const session data use session. Then I'm going to make a state. Let's do that. We're going to say const user choice set user choice. And then we're going to say publish dot video publish. We can go ahead and close that. Now let's actually write the mutation. We having an error. Let me see video. Published. Oh, just grab that. Just like that. Published. There we go. Then I'm gonna make the mutation. I'm gonna say const publish video mutation, just like that. And inside there, I'm gonna make something for handle public mutation, very similar to what we have already done with many different properties inside this. I'm gonna say const handle publish video input. Then I'm gonna say if user choice dot publish. Then we're gonna say set user choice to publish equals false. So if user choice publish equals true, then we're gonna, once this is hit, because we're handling this published, once this is hit, we're gonna change this to false. Then we're going to say else, which is going to be the vice versa. So once the user says, hey, look, we want to publish the video, we're pushing the button. If it's true, then we're going to change it to false. If it's false, then we're going to change it to true. Simple as that. Then we can say publish video mutation dot mutate. Then we can close that. If we go back up to our follow button, it's very similar to what we have already done. Very, very similar, almost a copy and paste. Very similar to const. We have the mutation right here. We have the handle. And then depending on what the user does, we just do the opposite. We go back to publish video. Or publish button. You have handle publish video right here. Then we have that. Now let's actually make the return statement. So I'm going to say TD, right? Because this is going to be another element inside of our table. Then I'm going to close it just like that. Inside of here, I'm going, oh, and before we even do that, I want to import something from headless UI. If we head over to headless UI, you see that we have this switch toggle right here, and we see some of the code for this. This is basically what we're going to be doing. We see headless UI switch, so we can just copy that. We can come back over here and we can just put switch right there. We already have headless UI already installed pretty much. I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna say switch. And inside here, to let it know if it's switched or not already, let's close that. To let it know if it's switched or not already, we're going to just say whatever the user choice was. User choice.publish is. If it's true, then just put out true. If it's false, whatever. Then we're going to actually handle the user's change. So we can say, let's say on change, we're going to say handle publish video. Handle publish video. And then the things that we're going to be passing into here is the video ID and then the user, the session data. Just like that. And then we can close it just like that. It's very, if we go back to follow button, it's very similar to what we have already done. Instead, we just don't need the, we just don't have to have this parameter here. We don't have to say if it's session data or not. But it's very similar. Handle button, etc., where we already have a variant, etc. It's very similar. That's why I'm not spending crazy amount of time going into like crazy amount of depth into it. Here, just like that. Next thing I'm going to do, one more thing I want to do is I want to grab let's go to navbar real quick. I want to grab this function, the conditional function. And we scroll down, we see it right here. Let's grab this. We go back to publish button. We're going to just put this right here. And then we're going to make a conditional class name. We're going to say class names just like that. Then we're going to say when the user choice is true, the background color is going to be 600. And you can see this right here. So like when it's true, it's green. When it's false, it's going to be white. We're going to implement that here. So I say user choice dot publish. We say background primary 600. Did we say background gray 600? Close that. And then we're going to say all the other CSS in order to make this work regardless of the conditional. So we have like border transparent, rounded, cursor pointer, etc. Let me close this so people could see. You have transition colors, borders transparent. Just like that. And now let me just go ahead and add this right here. Just like that. We come back over here. We start to see the emergence of this. Let's add, we have to add just a couple more things. Let's go, we come back over here. Next thing we have to add is this like little white button right here. And we have a transition for that. Let's go, if we go back over, we can say we are going to go smack dab in the middle of the switch. And then we're going to say span. Span just like that. Then we're going to say class name. Just like that. And inside here, we are going to say on user dot choice dot publish, we can translate to translate on the x-axis of 5, and then on the and then vice versa when it's false. Then I'm gonna add in some CSS just right underneath there. Let me close this span. Just like that. CSS, and you see ease out, transition, duration, etc. We talked a little bit about these properties back when we was making nav bar and sidebar, etc. We come here, we even go back to the cell and the headless UI docs. You see where the span and the class names are. We even scroll up a little bit. We see some of the conditionals and then the class names right underneath it. And we go back over to Creator Studio, you see that we actually have our button. Cool, we have the button that moves and everything. All right, we're gonna come back over here. And now we're going to add, oh, real quick, I wanna show you, we're gonna add the unpublished, and then when it clicks, then it says publish. We're gonna add that feature. So let's do that now. If we scroll down, we're gonna make another TD tag, just like this. Let's say white space, no wrap, run pixels, etc. Then we're going to close it. Just like that. Then we're going to come down. We're going to say user choice.publish. If user choice.publish equals true, then it's going to show blue or green. If not, then it's going to show orange. So let's do that now. We say span, inline, flex items, rounded border success 700, font medium, text success, etc. 700. Then we can say, let's close it. We can say inside here, we're going to say published, and then we're going to close the span, and then it's unpublished. Pretty much going to do the exact same thing, but say text error. And instead of saying text error, we're going to just say warning, right? Because it just, I don't want to have deep orange. I just want to have, or deep red, I want to have orange. It makes it look a little better. Cool. Then we can close this just like that. Then we can close that just like that. We can save it. And then if we come back over here, you see that it says we have the button, but looks like we are running into some sort of error. Let's check it out. Got it. Instead, we're going to take this and we're going to relocate it outside, and we're going to put it right here. This is a better place to put it. We come back, we see that now it is working perfectly. And now we have the status uploaded, rating, and data uploaded. Getting there. Cool. All right, I'm gonna head back to dashboard. Now if you come here, you end up seeing that it says publish is missing type, it's missing these properties. What we can go ahead and do is actually delete this and then just put video, and then we put in the direct properties that we want. So we say ID and then published, and then it will accept these as props. If we go back over, everything still works. Everything is still being passed in. So just in case you're starting to get that error. Now the next button that we're going to be making is the delete button. So you click this and then a modal pops up, dialog, and then you can either delete it, not. So in this case, I actually delete this now. Push delete, and you see that it's gone from the UI. It's gone for good. There you go. Let's go ahead and make this now. I'm going to first come to our buttons. I'm going to push new. I'm going to say here, let's say, I'm going to say delete button. Then I'm going to say .tsx, just like that. I have the delete button. Next I want to do is we're going to export it. So let's do that. So we say export default function delete button. And the properties we're going to be passing this is just the video ID and also the refetch. So refetch the entire dashboard, simply because remember when we just clicked this, it updated all of this right down here. The way that we was able to do that was just by a refetching the entire page. So that's why we're grabbing that, put that as props, and then we're going to pass in the actual types. We say video ID equals string, refetch, etc. We can go ahead and close that. We can go ahead and make a return. We say delete button, just like that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create the delete mutation. So we can head over to user.ts, and I'm going to close these for you. And then we have, my mistake, not user. We want to go to video. Video, where we say publish video, we're going to say delete video right underneath it. I'm going to close these just like that. I'm going to say delete video, and I'm going to call it a protected procedure, just like that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the inputs in. So it's very similar to what we already have done. Inputs, and then we're going to say .mutation async. And then it's very similar to what we already have done with publish video. We can just basically just copy const video check await ownership. We can copy that from the publish video, and then we can click it, and then we can pretty much just copy with IntelliJ or GitHub Copilot really has. If you put type, you pretty much just copy, just pasting in exactly what we have, because all we're doing is just saying const delete video, and then we're just saying video.id. Pretty much that simple. It's not anything complicated. We can go back over up to our delete button. So let's do that. We say delete button. I'm gonna go off. We're gonna come back over to dashboard, and we're gonna go into data.videos.map right here, and we're gonna scroll down to the list items. We're gonna make a new item. We're gonna say TD white space no wrap, and then we're gonna say padding padding of X on 3, padding Y, text is small, etc. We're going to go ahead and open it. Then we're going to import our delete button. So we just say delete. Hold on. Sorry, I got caps locks on. Delete button. We enter. And then the properties we're going to pass into it is video. Instead of having on delete, remember, if we come over here, we see our props. We're going to have refetch. So we're going to implement that as well. So we say refetch equals refetch. Then we're going to close it just like that. And if it doesn't pop up, hold on, let's give it some time. No quick fix. Okay, looks like it got it. Then we come here, we see it says delete button, and that is being rendered straight from our paragraph tag right here. Cool. Cool. So the first thing that we're going to write is we're going to make some state variables, etc. So we're going to, we want to come right here, and I'm going to import some things for React. I'm going to say use ref. I'm going to say use state. A couple of these properties right here. Just like that. And then I'm going to say const open and then set open. This will allow us to open and, whoop, my mistake. We're going to put it right here. We're going to say open and set open. This will allow us to open and close our modal. Remember, very similarly to our save button, where on push, it pops up the dialog. Very similar to here, we're basically going to be putting in a lot of the same values. So if we scroll back up here, we say we have use state, etc. to open and close it. And we go down, we have transition root, dialog, child, right? So as soon as the first transition that happens is the background, so it has the black background. So this is when you push, let's go back to vidchill.org. We're in vidchill. When I push this, it makes the whole background black. This is what this top part is doing right here. And then underneath it is the actual dialogue. Everything for our dialogue right here. That's that. Back at save button. So we are going to be implementing that as well. We're going to come back to that. So don't just hold your horses. Next thing we want to do is say cancel button ref. Just like that. This is going to allow us to close our button, etc. We want to say const handle click. Just like that, handle click, and we're going to say set true. So when the button is clicked, it automatically says true. Then we're going to say session data. And now let's write the actual mutation. And before we even do that, we want to import. So we're going to come here and we're going to say import use session, just like that. Next thing we want to do is we want to handle the delete mutation. We can go and import it from our API. Just like that. Then we say const handle delete video. Just like this. And then we say delete video dot mutate input. And then we say on success. We want to refetch the entire page. And then we want to say set open is false. So we're going to close the modal. Very simple and easy as that. Cool. Now this is all the logic that we're going to be using. Now let's actually implement it. So the first thing I'm going to input is this actual button that you see right here. So we're going to actually make a button with a trash can on it. Let's do that. If I come here and then I say button, I say on click, and I say, when I push this, button on click, handle click, just like that. Now let's close it. This button automatically, if we see it, we don't see a button, it's fine. Let's put something random in it. when I click this button, it automatically would open the mode our dialog, modal, whatever you want to call it. Cool. In here, we are going to put a trash can. So we're going to say trash for our icon, TR. We see it right here. We just click it and it automatically imports it for us at the top. And then some class names we're going to give it. Oop. We're going to say class name. We're going to say margin right. We're going to say height 5 here. We're going to say strength, and we're going to say stroke gray of 600. If we come back and we look at it, we see that it's right here. We're at localhost. We see that it's right here. And then I can get rid of this delete button right here because we no longer need that test. Then if we come right here, you see that we have just a trash can. Simple as that. Next part, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually go to save button because we already have a modal that we created where we end up having the transition.child and transition.root, the dialog already set up. We're basically just going to be doing the exact same thing. So let's go ahead to our save button, and we see transition root here. We have our background, and let me just close this for you, and I can keep going down. And then I'm going to stop right here. And I'm going to come right here. Oop, let's go back to delete button. Then I'm going to just paste this right underneath it. Now if we hover over it, give it a second. We have to import everything from Headless UI. So let's go ahead and do that. Missing imports. If we come up here, we see transition and dialog is imported now. One thing I noticed is that they automatically ended this for us. We don't want that. Well, in that case, well, we can keep it. We can keep it, and we just open that up just right there. One thing we can also do is close these div tags that we have. So let's do that. Oh, sorry. So div, close. It was just like that. We see that we open transition root and dialog right here. So we're gonna scroll down and we're going to implement those in tag, just like that. And we see React fragment. Let's go ahead and implement that. Let's go back to save button. If we come up, we see it says fragment from React. Let's do that. Come back up. Looks like we have it. Let's see what the issue might be. Let's refresh. And after refresh, we see that we are good. Let's go back to Create Studio. Here we go. And then if I click this, looks like we're having some issues. Let's see what's the problem. This error might be happening because we haven't implemented anything into our transition child. So let's go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and say dialog panel. So the next part. So basically the part that we had right here. If we scroll down, we see dialog.panel. And this is basically the white box that we see. This is everything with the white box. This is the panel itself. And here's the title for the panel. Let's implement that now. So I'm going to say dialog panel, and then I'm going to give it some class names. Let's go back to, now we're back at delete button. We're going to say dialog panel, very simple like this. That we were in the class names we're going to give it is position relative. Let's say transform, overflow, rounded, large, background white. We'll give it some padding, some text left, shadow, transition all, a couple other things as well. We can go ahead and close this. Oop. Dialog panel, just like that. We can go ahead and open it. With every dialog panel, you're also going to need a title. Let's go ahead and do that now. And before I even implement a title, let's implement some more divs and some class names. So I'm gonna make a div class name. I'm gonna give it small. With a small, I want flex, and then with a small, I want items to align like at the start. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. Now we're going to, the first thing we're going to do is end up importing our red icon. So let's do that here. We can come here and say div, and then inside here we can say red trash. So we're going to import that from our imports, and then we can go ahead and close this right here. Just like that, we can save it, and then we have it. We're giving it a margin auto, margin left, everything on the x-axis. The margin is going to be auto. We're going to say flex. We're going to say height, and then the exclamation mark means important, and then width important as well. And then we say aria./hidden. And if we go here, we see that we end up having our trash can right here. Cool. The next thing that we're going to make is we are going to have a tag right underneath this. We're going to say div class name. We're going to say margin top, text center, and some things for small. We're going to go ahead and close this div just like that. Come down here, and then we're going to say dialogue. We're going to give it a title. Dialogue title. We're going to say it's going to be a H3, and then we are going to say text based font semi-bold leading. So this is going to be line height, and then it's going to be, the color is going to be text of 600. We can go ahead and close this. Oh, and before we do that, we're going to say delete video, give it an actual tag, and then we're going to close it. Next, right underneath this, we're going to say div. We're going to say it's going to be a margin of 2 inside of it. We're going to close it just like that. And come here. And inside here, we're going to make a paragraph tag. The paragraph tag is going to say, are you sure you want to delete this video? Once you have deleted, you cannot recover it. Then we can go ahead and close this just like that. You can save it. Just like that. And if we come up, you see that we're starting to get this delete. And are you sure you want to delete this video? Simple and easy, just like that. Now what we need to do is make our cancel button and our actual delete button. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to say div class name, and we're going to pass some classes inside of there. So we say div class name, margin top, a couple small, flex, reverse, etc. We're going to go ahead and close this. And inside here, we're going to have 2 buttons. The first button is going to be our actual delete. And we say delete, we say button, oh, my mistake. We say button, we say type equals button, just like that. We're going to give it some class names. Class names. And let me close this just like that so we can correct it. And the class names we're giving it is going to say inline flex, width full, justify center, say rounded. It's going to be a background of red. A couple more, we're going to say text is going to be white, and then when you hover, it's going to be a background of red 500, etc. And then this one is going to be margin left, and width is going to be auto. So like, well, I'll show you, let's see. Right, so when I close it, you see if it would go. Let's see if I do this. I'll show you in one. We'll come right back to it. Let's actually get the button done first. Yeah, we'll come right back to it. Cool. I can say delete just like that. And then I'm going to make an on click. I could come over here and then I say on click, and it's very similar to every single button we have already made. If we go to published button, anything like that, we just say handle published video, etc. It's very, very similar to what we are doing with our deletes button. Cool. We can say handle deletes. We can say on click, we're going to handle delete video. And because we've already pretty much done this, I can just put this right here. So we say on click, and then we're going to handle delete video. Inside there, we're going to pass the video. We're going to say ID and then video ID. And then we get video ID from, it's passed in there as props. And the user is going to be the session.user ID, just like that. And then we're right underneath it, we're going to make another button. We're going to say button. We're going to say type button. We're going to give it, let's say ref cancel. This is going to cancel the entire thing. We're going to say on click. When we click it, it's going to close the modal. So this is going to be set open to false. You remember the set open up here where it says set open to false. Handle click set open to true. Yep. You see right here. We're going to put in some class names and I'll explain what's happening. Names, and then I'm going to close it just like that. I'm going to close it just like that. And then I'm going to say cancel just like that. And then what we're doing is we're going to say margin top. We're going to say inline flex, width is full, rounded, background is white, font semi-bold, a couple other properties like shadow and ring gray 300, etc. Let's go show you now. If we come to this, you see it. We make it small. You end up seeing that when it's small, you end up seeing that the button becomes like a full width, and then when it grows, you see that it goes even bigger. You even see it right here. Just like that. We can come back and make it full screen, close that, and now we have our button. And let's just make sure it works. If I come here, I can say delete video. Let's delete it. Cool. And it deletes our video. There we have it. Cool. So the next thing that we're going to end up building is a edit button. So if we come here and we say edit, you see that we have this is the best year. We can change this to title, vid, whatever. It doesn't even matter. So that we save it, and then you see that we have changed the title just like that. We can upload image. So let's try doing that. We come here and we just say raster times, and then we crop it. We can crop it just like that. And then when you see how I just cropped it, there's another modal that has actually popped up. So we have to build both of those. We have to build this model and then the second one. I'll show you that one more time. We come here, we upload a file, we select what we want. We have to build this page as well. So this is two things we got to do. We got to build the edit one, and then we have to build the image cropper one. So that's all things that we're going to do. You can make this as big as you want and then crop it as such. And then here's your image. And then you can save it, and then it will actually change the actual thumbnail URL. So that's the next thing that we're building. Let's actually just get started. So if we go back to dashboard and we scroll down, we see that we have our delete button. We import that. We are going to be making an edit button right underneath this. Very similar to what we have done right with the delete button. So let's go ahead and do that now. We come here, we scroll out, we say new, we say edit button. Then we say .tsx, just like that. Let's come up to buttons. Then what we are going to do is export our edit button. So let's do that. We say export edit button from edit button, and then we can come down, and then we are going to say we are first going to make an interface. And we're going to say everything that we're going to be passing into this edit button. We're going to say interface, edit button props. Then we're going to say, we're going to put in video. Ooh. Then inside there, we're going to say ID, string, and say title, description, and then thumbnail, and then inside there, we're going to just say URL, just like that. We're going to go ahead off and close this, and then we're going to make a refetch. Just like that. We'll save it. Let's edit button props, and then inside edit button props, or inside we're gonna we're gonna create our export function. So let's do that. We say export function edit button. We say the video, so our video object and our refetch. And then here's our edit button props. We can go off and say return. We can put in some brackets like that. And inside here, we can actually just start. We'll say button, and then we'll close it. And inside here, we can say edit. So this will be the edit icon. And inside here, we're going to give it a couple names. We'll say edits, class name, we'll say margin right, we'll say height of 5, width of 5, we'll say shrink of 0, and the color is going to be gray 600. Cool. We can come here, we can close this and then save it, and then we can highlight over this like that, and then we can say add imports from icons. Then let's come back over to dashboard. Then now we can say, we can say edit button right here. And inside here, everything that we said from our interface, we're going to pass it in there. So we can say refetch, just like that, save it. Then we can also say video, and then we're going to pass in all the properties. We're going to say video, so it's video.id, or just empty string. Same thing with title, same thing with description, same thing with thumbnail URL. We can highlight over it, we can click. We can say add imports from buttons /buttons. Simple as that. If we head over to our local host, we can see that now we end up having a button just like that. Now, in order to get this a little bit better organized, we can come up here and let's close this. We can say div, and then we're going to say flex, and give it a class name of flex row, and then gap of 2. We can come down here and close it just like that, save it, and then we come back. We see that the gap is much larger, just like that. Cool. We head over back to our edit button. Remember that this is a modal, right, or a dialog. When we push this, when we click on this button, it automatically will open. So let's go ahead and implement some of that functionality here. We can first say const open set open, and actually we can go to our delete button, and then we can just copy basically what it has right here, because we're going to be doing something very, very similar. Hit open, and then we can highlight over it, click, and then say add import use state. Next we can do is we can say cancel button ref, very similar, just like that. Then we could come back to our delete button, and we can just highlight const handle click, and then when this button is when the edit button is clicked, it'll automatically open this modal. Let's do that, and now we can come down to here, and we can just say on click handle button, just like that. Handle click just like that. Let's highlight over this, and then we're going to update import from React, just like that. Use ref, very similar. Then we can come back over here. We want to add one more thing that we want to add. We want to add dash fragment. Fragment, just like that. Added that. Cool. We can come back over to delete button, and we can just copy basically the first portion of this. It's very similar. And we can even do stop here. I can scroll down, and I can put this right here, right underneath it. Just like that. Then I'm going to add the closing tags. We can, oops, let's go back. We say transition.child. We want to close the divs. We're going to close the dialog that we have right here. And we want to close transition root. You save it. Now what we need to do, we can come back to delete button. We can just copy these imports like here from headless UI. Scroll up. Transition. There we go. We have no more errors. Cool. Let's also go and copy dialog panel. It's pretty much the exact same. Copy this. Come back here. We could say dialog panel, and then we can also close it just like that. And remember, dialog panel is where we're going to be putting on all of our data, everything that we want, the actual modal. Cool. We're going to come up a little bit, and we're going to add. Remember, we're gonna make 2 pages here. So one page is going to be the main modal, and the second page is going to be the crop. So let's go ahead, and we're going to make a new state that encapsulates that now. So we're going to say const current page. We say it just like that, const current page, and we'll say current page state 1. That's what it'll begin with. Etc. We're going to come back down, and then we are going to start with this. We're going to say if current page, let's go into the dialog. We say current page is equivalent to 1. Then we can say age 1, just like that. Else you can close that just like that, and then we can say current page is equivalent to 2, page 2. Let's go just like that. Current page 1, page 1, 2, just like that. Let's go and check to see how we're doing. We come here, we say page 1, and then I can just come here and I could just say use state. This will be the first state. Come here, it says page 2. Simple as that. We're going to set the state back to 1. Let's scroll back up. The next thing that we're going to do is actually write the mutation in order to actually update the video. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Let's come down. We're going to go down to video. We can go ahead and close these. And this one is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to say update video. Say update video, which is a protected procedure. And for the input, our input can pretty much be every single thing that the entire user model. My mistake, the entire video model. So let's go ahead and update. Let's go and implement that here. We can say z.input, just like that. For the input, we can have ID, user ID, and the things we can update is title, description, and thumbnail URL. Then we're going to say dot mutation async. First thing it's going to do is it's going to get the ownership, very similar to what we have already done. So we can actually just copy this, come to delete video and just say const video check ownership, paste it in there. Let me go ahead and close this for you. Like that, and get rid of this comma, just like that. Then after that, then it's going to say data. And this is the actual data that we're going to be passing in there. Let's say const update video, Prisma.update, just like that. And then we're going to say where ID video.id. We can close it. Then we say data. We say title, input, description, input, etc. So pretty much all of our properties that we can pass into there, we're going to put in there, and then we're going to close it, and then we're going to update, return updated video, just like that. Pretty much simple, very similar to what we pretty much have already done. Cool. So once we have that finished, we can come back to our edit button. And now what we are going to do is just say const add video update mutation. Say this right here. And we can come up here. Say quick fix, and then we say add import to utils. We are going to come back to this in just a little while, so just hold your horses. Let's come back down here, and we're going to delete this. We're going to put these brackets inside. We are going to open these like this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to say div. Say div, and then we're going to close it, just like that. And inside this div, we are going to make another div. So let's do that. We're going to say div, just like that. Inside here, we're saying margin top, width is full. We're going to say text is center. And these are some properties for small, when it becomes small. As simple as that. Now we're going to go ahead and say dialog title. So we say dialog title. We're going to say as equals h3. And then underneath it, we are going to give it some CSS names. Some class names. We're going to say text is base, font semi-bold, leading, text is gray, etc. We can go ahead and close it. Just like that. And inside here, we're going to give it a name. We're going to say edit video, just like that. Cool. Let's go up and see it. We click this. We see now it says edit video. Next thing that we can do is we can say, we can give it a paragraph tag. paragraph tag, and we're going to say inside here, we're going to say edit your thumbnail, title, or description. Just like that. And then we can go ahead and close this. Just like that. Just go ahead and see it. You start to see it's coming together. Let's actually give it a margin top 2 pixels, just like that. Just to give it some separation. Cool. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make another div underneath this. And we're going to say div column span is full. We can go ahead and close this. Next thing we're going to do is say label. See label. And we'll say HTML. It's going to be a cover photo. And inside here, we're going to say block, text is small, font medium, your leading text is gray, etc. We can go ahead and close this as well. Inside here, I'm going to say cover photo. Just like that. We come to it. You see that we says cover photo. Let's come here. And now what we're going to be making is we're just going to be making this part. So you see the actual, and if I actually, let's just refresh this real quick. We're going to be making this part right here. So where you can click it and you can upload it. That's what we're going to be making. So let's do that. Let's go back to our code. I can say div, give it some class names. I can say margin top of 2. I can say display flex, justify center. I can give it a border rounded radius, border radius round of large. I can say border. I can say border dashed. So that gives it a dash style instead of like just a solid border. It has like dashes. I can give it a color. And give it a padding on the x-axis as 6, and then padding on the y-axis as 10. Go ahead and close this just like that. Let's go back and open it. So now we're going to make one more div. We're going to say div class name, and then we're going to say text dash center. Simple as that. And now we are going to go up to the top, and I'm going to make a state, and we're going to call it a cropped image. Just do that now. If I come here, I can simply say const cropped image or set cropped image. This is going to be once we finish cropping the image, then this is going to be that image right here. And now what I want to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just say I'm going to make an if statement, a conditional statement saying that if the image is cropped, then we just want to display that. Let's come down. Where was we? We was right here. We say cropped image. Is the image cropped? If so, we're just going to say image just like that. And then the source is going to be that cropped image. Else, if anything else, then it's going to be the actual upload of file. Then it's going to display this, the regular upload of file. And to give you an example, we push this, we come here, we crop the image, we crop it. Cropped image state variable, this is what's going to be shown. So that's why we're doing a conditional. Let's go back. You say cropped image, else then we can make a div. Let's just do that. And let's also close it just like that. And this is vidshow.org. If you're wondering how I'm getting the actual design, let's come back here to our local host. You see here, let's finish this up. Now inside here, we're going to say div. We're going to say margin top. We're going to say flex, type, text is small, leading, etc. We're going to close it. Inside here, we're going to give it a label and some class names. Say label, cursor pointer, rounded, background right, text is primary 600, focus, a couple of focus things, just adjusting the color. And we're going to say span. Oh, well, actually, let's close this. Then we're going to say span, upload a file, and then we're going to have an input. Right underneath it, say input. We'll say pretty much exactly when that is popping up, file, upload, etc. And then we're going to make an on change, but we're going to do that in 1 second. So we're going to write a function for when it changes as well. There you go. Then after the label is closed, then we're going to make a paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. And let me zoom down a little bit so people can see. Make a paragraph tag. And I'm going to just say padding left. And I'm going to say or drag and drop. Simple as that. Let's go see what we have so far. Cool. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come back down here. And we are going to add just a couple more properties. We're going to get another paragraph tag. So here we'll say text is small, leading 5 in the color. We'll say PNG, JPEG, GIF up to 10 megabytes. And let's see it. You see that it is right here. We're just going to add, the more things that we add, it's automatically going to resize itself. And if we say uploading file, you see that it automatically allows us to come here. It's not going to replace this yet because we have to add the crop as well. So yeah, let's go back. Now we're going to come back down here and we're going to make a new div right here. Inside here, we are going to say flex column, flex gap, etc. We're going to close it. And here we're going to make the other two inputs. So this is going to be title and description. So let's do that. We're first going to we're going to say label. Let's do that. Say label. We're going to give it block, text is small, font medium, leading, etc. Then we can say title, and then we can go ahead and close it just like that. Cool. One thing I noticed is that I closed a div way before I was supposed to. So this div right here, we are going to take that and we're going to put this way down in the bottom, just like that. We can save it. And then if we go back to our Google Chrome, you can see that now everything looks like it's supposed to. This was the issue that we ran into. Cool. Let's go back over and we're going to now make our input. So we can say input. And then inside here, we can say type and name is title. Just like that. We can say ID is title. We are now going to give it some class names. We can say class name. We can say block. Width is full. We can say rounded is medium. We can say border. We say text is gray. Couple other things, placeholder, ring, etc. Now we can go ahead and close it. one other thing I want to add is, oops, let's get rid of that. We're going to say margin top. There's 2, just like that. Ooh. Come here that it seems like it's a little too close. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just say that. Cool. So next what we're going to do is the exact same thing, but for description. So let's head on and do it. So we can copy basically this entire label and we'll put it right underneath it. Just like that. And we'll say description. Then we can go underneath it. And then we can say, instead of saying input, we're going to say text area. So text area, we're going to say, we're going to give it rows, name, ID. We're going to give it rows of 4. Then we're going to say class name. Pretty much the exact same class names as was right here. Paste that in there. Then I can go ahead and close it just like that. And you see, here we have it. There you go. I'm going to add margin top 2 right here at our label. So it won't just be touching us. And there you go. You have some spacing between them two. There we go. We can go back down. Cool. Now we're going to change the value. So we're going to say value, or in fact, we're going to make a state variable. We're going to change the state. Let's go up. And we're going to change the state. We're going to make a new state called const user set user, and then we'll say title video.description, etc. just like that. And then we can come back down. Then we can say value. We say user.description, and we'll say the same thing with input. Ooh, let's put it here. Value.user.title, just like that. And then we can make a onChange event. We say onChange, and we're about to make this in 1 second. We could say handle input change, and we can do the same thing right here. Let's scroll back up. We can say const handle input change, and then we say we can pass it the event properties, just like that. And then once we have a change, it's going to set the user. It's going to set the user property right here. So anytime we get a new, something is changed, it's going to automatically update the set user property. So it's going to say set user, whatever the previous user's info was. And then we'll say dot there. And then we say event.target.name is going to be put into there. So this automatically just updates our user state right here with the properties right here. Let's go ahead and close this. Just like that. Now if we scroll down, the last 2 things I want to add is I want to add the submit button and the cancel button. So let's go ahead and do that now. I can scroll way down here and come right here, and I can say we're going to make a new class. We'll say div class name relative margin top flex, set our gap, a couple more things. Then we want to close it just like that. Then we're going to make a new button, and we're going to bring in our button component. Just like that, it automatically imports it up top for us. And then we're going to say type and variant is going to be green, right? Because this is the save button. And let me just show you that real quick. See, if we go down, we say this is a primary variant primary, and this is the variant secondary gray. Let me say type reset, variant is primary. We can say the size of this is going to be large. Oop. And then we can go ahead and close it for right now. We can save it, and then we can type in save for the properties we want. And then we're going to add a on-click handle submit, but we're going to do that. Let's define it first, and then we'll come back to it. Next, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. In fact, I can just copy this. Let's get rid of the type. Let's say secondary dash gray. Just like that. We say size is large. And on this one, we can say on click, and we'll say just set open equals to false. Set open equals to false. And that's going to close our modal. And let me just show you now. We're back here at our local host. We can click it and we see all the info. Looks like we messed up part of the CSS. So let's go back real quick and let's see. Okay, we want, let's actually move this because we don't, let's move that one. So we want this at the very bottom. Boom. Perfect. You see that now it's at the end. We can say save and save. Let's say save and cancel. Just like that. We come back to it. We see cancel. Cancel just closes the modal. Just like that. Perfect. Let's come up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say const handle submit. Right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and close it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say console.log submit just for now, because we have a whole bunch of stuff. We have to include Cloudinary and stuff because we have to send the image to Cloudinary, whole bunch of different things. So we're just going to write this for now just to define it. Sorry about that. We'll come out, and then we'll just say on click. Let's just copy this. We say on click. Handle submit. Just like that. Cool. So we're going to come back up here. We're going to make another variable, and we're going to call it const image. And this is the image that is being posted. We say set image and use state, and it's going to be file or null. Simple as that. Then we're going to come back down. We're going to come all the way down to the bottom. And this is where we're going to actually start creating our image cropper, because we pretty much have everything. Let's go back to localhost. We pretty much have everything here. We just have to, when the image is uploaded, we just need to be able to transition to the crop page. Let me show you that. Well, I showed you that already. So let's go over here. We're going to say export function image cropper. And then the things that we're going to pass it is pretty much the variables, all the variables from the top. So we're going to pass it set current page. We're going to pass it set cropped image. We're going to pass it image, handle submit, and a couple other things. And then we're going to close it, and then we're going to write the types for these because it's Typescript. Let's do that here. We say handle submit. This is the type for the handle submit. This is the type for set current page. This is the type for set cropped image. This is image. This is image type is set open. If I come up here, you'll see that this is pretty much all the variables that we had up here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and close this. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna say return. I'm gonna say image cropper, just like that. And then we're going to actually pass these variables, these states into it as props. So we can come back up here to image current page is equivalent to 2. We can get rid of this. And we can put it into brackets like that. And then we're going to say here, and then I'm going to say image cropper, just like that. And then we're going to pass it this data below, just like that. Passing it to set current page, the set crop page, and the image. And don't worry about some of these, because some of these is we're going to be using for our settings, or setting when we crop our page for our settings. So you don't have to worry too much about it. Let's go ahead and now we're going to start writing our crop image modal. And first, make an interface. I'm gonna say cropper image element. Just like here. I'm gonna say const cropper ref. It just takes what we have from cropper. And then I'm gonna say const crop image. And the thing that's gonna actually crop the image is this code below, just like this. If we come here, we have something called React Cropper. And then if we look below, this is the library that we actually use in order so we can actually crop our image. And we have some of the code right here. And if you're curious about a little bit more of this, I highly recommend that you go up and look up React Cropper, because this is sort of the way that we are doing this. Let's go ahead and we're going to say MPI PM React Cropper. We come back here. We say bash. We're going to simply download this right into here. Once I have it, then I can come here. I click here and then say import React Cropper. And let me close these for you. React Cropper, just like that. I also want to add in just Cropper.js. Right, so this is a little bit of the CSS to make the cropper look how it is. Then I'm gonna come back down. I'm gonna write something called complete crop. So when it completes the crop, then it's going to set the current page. I'm gonna say crop image. So this is the code to actually crop the image. And then I'm going to say set current page back to page 1. Set current page to back page 1. I can close it. Then I can say, I can make another one called const cancel crop. I can say either the set open is going to be false, or I can say set current page back to 1. Just like that. Cool. And now we're going to head back in here, and I'm going to make a div, and we're going to start building out our actual cropper. Let's close these. I'm going to say div. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this div right here. Inside here, these is just some elements just for when it's small. Then I make another div inside of here. Inside here, I'm going to say margin is top. I'm going to say full width. I'm going to say text center, and a couple other properties. Then I'm going to say, I'm going to make a conditional. I'm going to say image. If we have an image, so we get it from here, from our props image, then we say, let's go ahead and close this. Just like that. Say, we're going to say a div inside here. We're going to say, we're going to close it just like that. And it's going to be margin top of 5. Then I'm going to say open. I'm going to say cropper. Just like that. Then I'm going to say, we say reference is going to be cropped ref. I can say source, and the source that we're going to be using is going to say instance. It's going to be an instance of file. If it is an instance of file, then we're going to create an object URL. Else, then it's just going to be a regular image, right? Because we want to just change our file into a URL. So this is why we call this conditional. Next, we can do style, and we're going to change this to 100%. Ooh. Do that right here. Next, we can do aspect ratio. And what this aspect ratio is going to do is depending on the image type. So image is equivalent to image, then it's going to be an aspect ratio of 1/6. It's going to be an aspect ratio of 1. If it's not, then it's going to be 16/9. The reason why we have this is because if you look up here, we end up having image type of background image and image. I'll give you an example. We come back here and we go to settings. This is vidshield.org. We come back down to settings. You see how we have a background image right here. We click that. We see that this is a different aspect ratio. So this is the reason why we have this. This is a 16:9 aspect ratio. So this is the reason why we're putting that here. Let's go back to our edit button, image cropper. We can say guides is equal to false. And then we can go ahead and close this just like that. And then we're going to make 2 buttons below this. We're going to make a cancel button and then a crop image button. So let's do that. We can say div. We're going to put this in a div. Say div. Then we're going to close this div. Just like that. And inside here, we're going to say button. We're going to give it a variant of second gray. So say button variant secondary gray, just like this. So we got button. The variant is going to be secondary gray. The size is large. And then we say on click is going to be cancel crop. So we want to cancel it. And now run this. And what this would do is automatically send it back to page 1. And if it's a modal that we're hitting, then it's going to just set the modal to false. Then we can say cancel, and we can go ahead and close this. We're going to make another one very similar to this. So we can just copy and paste this. We're going to change this to primary. Primary, just like that. And instead of cancel crop, we're going to say complete crop. And when I complete crop, it's going to run this image that we got from React Cropper to go ahead and crop this page. Then we can say crop image, and then we can go ahead and close it just like that. And if we go back, and then we go over here to edit, we upload. We see that the thing does not work. And let's see why. If we come down here. Okay, looks like we almost missed out on our on change event. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to say on change. We're going to make an on change event on file change. And let's go write that function here now. Let's put it right here. We're going to say const. Let's say on file change, which is an event right here. Let's say if event.target.files. So we say if the event that is coming in is actually part of files and it has a length greater than 0, then we're going to say set image to whatever that file is, and then we can also set current page to 2, just like that. Then we can close these just like that. Now let's go ahead and try running it. We can come here, we can say upload a file here, and here you see our page, and we can go ahead and make a little crop right here, just like that. And then we can save it, but if we save it, nothing's going to happen. The only thing that we'll say is that console.log that we had. Let's go and see it. You'll see submit right here. Cool. So the next thing I want you to do is that we're going to head over to Cloudinary. We're going to push settings, and then we are going to scroll down to upload right there. Smooth this over a little bit. And then we're going to scroll down to where it says upload presets, and we're going to say add upload preset, simply like that. Then we're going to do is we are going to name this upload preset. So we're going to say user underscore uploads, and in the folder we're going to do is user uploads as well. We are going to actually make this unsigned just for the sake of this tutorial. If we scroll down, that is pretty much everything that we need for this. We're going to go ahead and save. Cool. And now we are able to upload things to Cloudinary, and I will show you how this works. Now let's start building that. Cool. So we head back over from our handle submit. We can scroll up, or let's scroll down right here to handle submit. And we're going to write some code that, and the way this is going to work, we're going to first send the data to Cloudinary, then we're going to get it back, then we're going to send it back to PlanetScale, right? So we're going to first upload our image to Cloudinary, and then we are going to upload that URL that we get back from Cloudinary to the database. We are not storing the actual photo itself in the database, just a URL to it. And I'm going to go slow just to make sure that everyone understands. So we're going to first say inside this handle submit, we're going to say type. The type we're going to say is upload response. Simple as that. Then we are going to define our video data, the entire video data that we have. So we say video data. We're going to say ID, user ID, title, description, thumbnail, etc. Just like that. So this is all of our data in of itself. We have it defined here. And you'll see why we're doing this in just 1 second. Then we're going to create a new form. We're going to say const form data, and we're going to say, we're going to make it new, just like that. And then we are going to say form data dot append the upload preset and the user uploads. Notice this is the folder that we end up creating right here in Cloudinary. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also append to this form data right here. We're going to append or cropped image. The file, we're going to say file, and we're going to say cropped image. So we are directly appending these directly to our form data. And now we can actually post this to the database. So let's do that now. And one thing before I forget, let's also implement session data really quickly. So I can go ahead and say const session data, very similar to what we have been doing. And then I can highlight it. Nope. Let's see it again. I could say add from next auth. Simple as that. Now we have our session data for the user ID. We can scroll down a little bit. So we say form data dot append. And then I'm going to do fetch. I'm going to say fetch right here. I'm going to say fetch. I'm going to then say part of the URL that we need to send in order so we can actually call this this URL. So we say fetch API cloudinary.com, and then this version, and then we're going to put plus, and then we're going to import our environment variable. So you remember our environment variable that we started out at the beginning, back when we end up seeding the database. So we can go to Prisma, we can go to seed.ts. You remember we called environment variable. So the cloud name, right? This environment variable right here, we can actually just go ahead and copy this, and we're going to bring this back down to edit button. We can go ahead and put this here, Cloudinary name. We can say plus Cloudinary name, and then we're going to say plus image upload. Plus image upload, just like that. And then we're going to define the method that we want to do. We want to say post, because we're posting the data. And then the thing that we're going to be posting is the into the body is this entire form data that we have appended these properties to. So I say form data like that. Then I can go ahead and finally close it and save it. Just like this. Ooh, one more thing I want to do. Two things I want to do. Because this is being used on the front end, we want to eliminate this process right here. Like that. And I'm going to go up and I'm going to import our environment, env, right there. And we can get rid of this right there. Now let's add some more properties. We're going to say a .then. Right here, once we get the data back, we're going to say .then. Say .then. And then we're going to say .then response implies response.json, and then we're making a promise right here. And then I'm going to make another .then. And this is the one where we're going to actually hit the mutation to send this back to our own database. I'm going to say .then. We're going to call this data, just like that. We can come here. Close this. I'm going to make an if statement for all of our properties. So I'm going to say if user.title is not equivalent to the video.title. So in this user.title, remember that we have this input right here from the what the user's input was right here. If we say user.title is not equivalent to the video.title, and the same thing with user description, and then we have another one where it says data.secure URL is not equivalent to undefined. So for example, if we actually get data from our database and it's not equal to undefined, then we can run this right here. The .secure URL, this is the actual image, the image URL that's being returned. We can say const new video data, and then we can map out where we can put video data. So all of our video data that we ever gotten. And then we're going to also implement data.secure, and then define it as thumbnail URL is now equal to data.secured URL. Now, one more thing we have to do, we're going to say if user.title is not equal to video.title, then we're going to run this, and we're going to do the same thing with user.description. And this is just checking to see if there's any changes in the data. If there's any change that has been recently made, then we're going to automatically implement it. We're going to add it to this new video data right here. And we're going to run the mutation. Let me write the mutation, and then you'll really see what's happening. And let me close this just to make some more room. If I say add video update mutation, so from what we had up here, so I say add video mutation, I say open to false, and we can refetch the entire page. We can close this just like that. Cool. So now this is just only putting in, it's only going to add to this new video data if either title or description is changed. That's what this is doing. And if only data.secure URL has changed. The thumbnail URL has changed. That's what we're doing. So for example, we have to just add a couple more types. But if you come here, let's go to Creator Studio. What we just wrote allows us to basically write title and not having to write have to upload a file in order so we can actually just run this and just change. So this allows us to only change one property without having to change the cover photo and the description in order to actually send data, new data to the database. Now let's actually do this. Let's finish this up. So I close this up, then I'm going to write a .catch just in case if there's any errors. So we say .catch error, and then we can say something like .catch error, and then it says an error occurred, and it'll let us know which one that is. It seems like we're running into some sort of error. Let's see what's wrong. We come up here. Looks like we have a semicolon there. Let's delete that. And everything should be working. Now let's go and try it. Now we're back at our local host. We're not on vidshow.org, we're at our local host, and we're going to see if our code actually works. We can come here, we can say upload a file. We can say, let's just make this, we say crop image. Let's say, hello, this is a change. We can save it. Boom, we have it. Hello, this is a change. And we have the changed image. And you see it right here. And just to make sure everything is working, we can go ahead and search this up. Hello, this is a change. And you see this is the change that we have. Perfect. All here on localhost. Now we're going to head back over to dashboard. And the last thing that we need to add on this is actually our upload button. Once we implement our upload button, we will pretty much be done with our entire dashboard. And then the last page that we're going to build is our settings page. And it's a lot of the components are going to be very similar. So yeah. Let's go back to dashboard. We're going to start off. Let's start off by actually making our create video mutation. So let's go over to video real quick. Let's close these. I'm gonna come right here and I'm gonna just say create video, which is a protected procedure. We're gonna say dot input. We're gonna say the properties we're gonna pass it is user ID, and then the video URL. The video URL is coming directly from Cloudinary. So it's the same process that we have done with our image is going to be the same process that we do with our video. We just upload it to Cloudinary and then that'll be it. Then we're going to write a dot mutation async input. Then we're going to say const video equals await. And then we're going to create a video, create the video model just like that. And then the data that we passed it is going to be the user ID, the video URL, and the publish is going to be false. Just like that. And the reason why the publish is going to be false is just because the only thing that we're just adding, or we're doing first, is just adding a video URL and the user ID, but we don't have a name. The user haven't used the update video method yet to update the name, add a description, upload a thumbnail, URL, etc. So the only thing that the user is doing right now is just uploading a video URL. Then we're going to say return video. Then we're going to give it some more, another parenthesis, just like that. We can close it. And yeah, this is a very simple create video, just like that. Very simple. Next, we're going to head back over to dashboard. I'm going to go and create a new button. We're going to call this upload button .tsx, just like that. Next, we're going to come back to buttons. We're going to add our upload button right here, just like that. Now, let's go to upload button. We're going to just say export function upload button. And the only thing that we're going to do is refetch. So remember, the refetch is just, we're going to just upload we're just going to refresh the page with this refetch call right here. Let's go ahead and close it. And then I'm going to write a return. I'm going to say return, open it like that. Inside of it, I can do this. And then we're just going to make our first button. We can say button like that. And then the variant I'm gonna give it primary. I'm gonna say the size is 2XL. I'm gonna say the class name is, we're gonna say margin left is gonna be 2, and I'm gonna say flex as well. Cool, and then I can go ahead and close this. Inside there, I'm gonna say this is going to be upload for upload, and inside here, I'm going to actually give it a plus. So we're going to just say upload. We're going to say plus, and then we're going to give it margin of right, width of 5, height of 5, shrink, and we're going to give it the color of white. I can go ahead and highlight this. I can say quick fix, and then I say add icons. There you go. Now we have our button. We can go back to it and we can refresh. Well, should really be refreshed. Looks like we don't have it. Let's see. Oh, last thing we need to do is actually, let's go and add this here. And I remember if we go back to dashboard, you see I said upload button here. That's perfect. We can go ahead and add this. I say upload button, and then I can push refetch just like that. And then now, if we head back over here, we see we have a nice upload button right there. Cool. I don't like how crunched up this is, so I'm gonna go over back to upload button, and I'm gonna put margin top of 6, and let's see if that fixes this. Perfect. You see that now it's a little bit better, and then now you have it. There you go. Cool. Now let's actually start building this. Remember that this is a modal or dialogue, whatever you call it. We are going to just be taking a lot of the properties we already had. So we just come over to edit button. We can copy pretty much this part. Copy. We bring this back over to upload, and we paste it in there like that. And then we can pretty much close a lot of these properties as well. We scroll down, we can grab this part right here. Just like that. Then we go to edit button, we come back up. We see headless UI React. Just like that. Then we also want to import fragments. We can come here, say add all missing imports. And then we also want to add our set open and close. So we can cool. So then we're going to hover over this. We're going to say quick fix, add. We are going to implement state. Let's head over to dialog panel. We can go ahead and we can start coding some of this. We can make a blank tags like that. Then we can say div. Then we go ahead and close it. Just like that. We can go ahead and open it again. And let's go to save button really quickly. We're going to grab this dialog title and then put it right back here. We just say dialog title just like that. And inside here, we're going to make another div. Say div. We'll say margin top, width is full, text is center, etc. Then we can go ahead and close it. Just like that. There we have it. And then we want to change this inside here to upload video. Cool. Now let's go and check it. We say upload. Looks like we're not getting anything. Let's see why. I think we forgot to put, yep, we never put a handle click equals open. So let's do that now. We can say on click. Right here. You say handle click. You say open. And we never defined handle click. So let's go ahead. Let's go back up. In that case, we can just create a new function called handle click. Let's say const handle click, and then we say set open equals true. Cool. Now let's try it. There you go. There we have our modal. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over to dialog, underneath dialog.title, and then we're going to say div class name column span full, just like that. Then we're going to close it. Next, we are going to call another div right here, just like this. We're going to give border, border dash, a couple other properties inside there. Just like that. And now we're going to say uploaded video. So if the video is uploaded, then we're going to make a paragraph tag to say your video has been attached, and else please upload video. And then we can come down here. Close it just like that. Now let's define this uploaded video. We can come up here. We can say const uploaded video, set uploaded video. So as soon as the person uploads the video, it comes to right here. Let's create a button like this for this. We can replace this, and let's say div class name, close it. We'll say hair flex text small, leading text gray 600, just like that. Next, we can come down here and we can say label, very similar to what we already did. We can say label like that. We can say relative cursor pointer. We say rounded, background white, font semi-bold, a couple other things for focus, and then we can close it. Label. And then inside here, we're going to say span, upload a file, very similar to what we have already done. Input. We can just push that. And instead of saying set uploaded video, we can delete all of this. We're going to say on file change, and then we can close this just like that. And then with on file change, what we're going to do, we can go back up to our edit button, and we can say on file change. We can just copy this. Upload button. You can come right here, put this right underneath that, on file change. In this case, instead of saying set image, we are going to say set uploaded video, just right there, and we can delete this part. Just like that. We can come back down, on change. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to say or drag and drop. Let's go and look at it. We come back over here and we push upload. You see the modal. You see upload file. Just like that. Then we can select it. Here, do you see right after where it says your video has been attached? So we have that. Cool. That's pretty much there. Now let's scroll all the way down to here, and then we're going to make our 2 buttons. We're going to say a div class name relative. We'll say margin top equals 5. We'll say flex row reverse, gap, etc. Then we can close it just like that. We can open it. Then we can say button type equals reset. Oops. Reset. Then we can say variant is primary. Then we can say size is large. And then we can say on click. On click, we're going to handle submit. We're going to write that in 1 second. Let's go ahead and close it. Oh, let's not do that. Let's do this. Just like that. Inside here, we're going to say upload. We save it. Let's scroll up. We can say const handle submit. And inside here, we're just going to say console.log submit. Cool, let's scroll back down. So now we have that. Then we're going to make a new button. Say button. Or say variant equals secondary dash gray. Just like that. And that's pretty much it. We can go ahead and close it. Just like that. And let's move this right there. We save it. Now we have our button, then our secondary button. Let's go see how it looks. We see it. It says your video has been attached. We can upload it. Then we push it. We come here to our console. We see it says sub ed. There you go. Cool. Now we can scroll back up. In order to run this, we're going to delete this. We're going to say add video update mutation. We're going to say API video and create video. Just like that. If we hover over this, and we click that, give it a second. And import. We come here to handle submit. We're going to open this up. We're going to say type upload response. It's going to be secure URL. And then we're going to say const video. Hold on. Data. Video data equals, we'll open this, and then we'll say user ID and video data here, video URL here. Let's go ahead and add this. So we come over here, we say session data. Let's just copy this. we can go ahead and import it. Let's do that now. There we go. Now we're going to say const form data, very similar to what we already done. And then we're going to say form data dot append upload preset user underscore uploads. And then we're going to say if the user has uploaded a video, then we can append the file to form data. So take the uploaded video and then append it to the form data. If uploaded video is true, then we can go ahead and fetch it. So we're going to just say const Cloudinary name, very similar to what we have already done. Make it look a little nicer. We'll put it up here, just like that. Then we can say fetch, very similar to what we already done. We can just copy this. Pretty much we can copy all the way here. We're gonna paste that right there. So Cloudinary name, image upload, so forth and so on. Next thing we can say is dot then say dot then we can pass data into there. We say if secure URL is not equal to undefined, then we can run this new video data, just like that. So we can close this just to make it a little neater. Close that as well so we can stay on track. You can also run a dot catch. Let's say dot catch right here. There we have it. Okay, let's finish. And I see we're running into an error here. Let's just hit over there. We say imports. There we go. Okay, no more errors. There we go. Cool. It says const new video data. Dot dot dot. Okay, so we have that. Now what we can do is say add video update mutation dot mutate. We're going to mutate the data, simply as that. Very similar to what we have already done. You can open this and then we can say on success set open to false. You say on success, we can say set open to false and void recache. Simple as that. And then we're going to go ahead and close it. Very similar to what we already done right here in edit video. Very similar. Very, very similar to what we already done with new video data. We even have new video data. Very similar to what we already done. Cool. And I think this is pretty much finished, or almost. We have one more thing to add. We are pretty much done with the upload button. Let's go ahead and check it out, see if it works. We can say upload button. We can say upload. Let's just say this IG post. You say your video has attached, and then we upload. Give it a second. Let's try it again. Nope, look like we're running into some error. Let's see if what's wrong. Let's see what's the problem. So I just ran it and it tells me see error. So I got secure URL. It says error, invalid image file. Okay, so I see the issue now. My mistake. Instead of saying image right here, because we copy and pasted, you want to say video upload, just like that. Now let's try this again. We now try to upload it. Let's actually refresh it. Cool, I checked it out. We're running into create error. And I think the reason is because we're trying to create it. And if you go to your schema, the Prisma schema file, you notice that thumbnail URL is blank. What we can do is it has to have a value in it. We can put a check mark, string check mark, check mark like that. We can save it. We can go to our terminal and let's post this. If we go to our terminal, we can say npx prisma db push, just like that. Run and generate. Perfect. Now let's try to do, and actually let's restart our server. Go to web server. Let's restart this. We say npm run dev. And we refresh it. Now if we try to upload a photo or a video, let's try upload. We have one. Let's say upload. There we go. And now we have our video right here. Perfect. And we can upload. We can give it. You can change it. We can say, give it an upload whatever we want. Let's see if I have something. Say that. Crop it. There we go. And I can just see if everything's working. Actually, let's give it a better name. Let's say testing YouTube. Perfect. And then if I search it, testing, and let's close this so everyone can see. If I say testing, you see the video right here. It's published. We say testing YouTube. We see it right here in our YouTube channel code still. Or our VidChill channel code still. Cool. So this is our upload button. Pretty much all done. Cool. So the last thing that we need to do is I want you to git commit this. So commit your any changes that you have. So I can do that now. I have an extension where I can just put in a message, say whatever. I say final change, and then I say commit and push. I say yes, just like that. And then now if we go over to Vercel, I say the new one. Now it's rebuilding our project. Come here, you can see that our entire, all the changes that we had, give it 1 second. Let's say visit. We end up having an actual URL for our website. Just like this, and you can go ahead, test it out, send it to your friends, etc. And a full project is here. Congratulations, you have made it through the entire 15 hours of us building a complete replica of YouTube, but just with a completely different user interface for that matter. In this course, we have learned everything from how to build, use the T3 stack to how to even deploy it to Vercel, PlanetScale, etc. If you have any questions about anything that we have done in the course, feel free to just drop them in the comment section and I'll answer them. Also, my email address is in the description below. I also am available on places like Instagram and Twitter, just in case if you want to message me that way as well. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, have a good one.